ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाताम् सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद अम्मन खड़े हो गए हेलीकॉप्टर मारता। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरे कृष्णा। So just one sec, I need to do you want to go there, Amma? No. ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಬಾ. ಅಮ್ಮ ಹೆಲಿಕಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ. Exactly when you say prayers, your kid will ask you to draw a helicopter in the book. Uh, anyway, actually, I want to start my video today. Although I'm sharing my screen, so it may not be very evidently visible, but I want to start this today um, because of a reason which I'll put in the group later on as well. So, seven oceans of Krishna, right? Um, So this is, as I said, this was revealed by like the what are these seven oceans? This was revealed by Shripad Ramanujacharya, and this is in connection to the verse that is often known as the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone say what that verse is? The essence of Bhagavad Gita.
To surrender.
Yes, that is one essence. What else? The thing, like, what do we do with surrender?
Remember Krishna?
Yeah, manmana bhav mad bhakto, right? So that is considered as the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And we'll slightly touch upon that verse today as well. So, seven oceans of Krishna. So, I wanted to begin by we often say, right, we should hear, we should, Shravanam and everything, right? So, I just wanted to go back a little and understand this emphasis on hearing, right? So, I just want to open it up and I want to make this interactive because in terms of content there is I can literally go through the content in 10 minutes and be done with it, but then with the discussions that we'll have, we'll try to make it more interesting. So anyway, the question that I want to ask is, what happens by hearing the message of Krishna? Why do we hear the message of Krishna? Why do we hear at all in spiritual life? You can
It purifies your senses.
Yes, purifies our senses. Okay. What else? So senses can be purified by other activities also, in the sense that like senses can be purified, for example, in a very crude way. If you have to think about it, like taking a bath in the morning, that also purifies the senses in the sense that your body becomes clean and so purifying the senses can happen, even in other ways. What is the purpose of hearing the message of Krishna specifically?
I meant to say purifies your mind.
Mind,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Soham Prabhu is saying you get to know how to live. Okay, you get to know how to live. Sure, yes, that thing is there in the that thing is there uh, in the pastimes that we see. We understand how we live. We need to live as devotees. What else?
It helps with the connecting, build a relationship with Krishna.
Okay, build a relationship with Krishna. Okay, yes. What happens before the relationship with Krishna gets built in a tangible way? Our heart awakens to love, is what Krishnan Prabhu is saying. Yes. Uh, and Nupur is saying helps in understanding who Krishna is. Yes. So our heart awakens to love. So before our heart awakens to love, something happens. Again, awaken is a subjective term, but here by awaken, I'm saying like, it like really awakens and starts blossoming in love for Krishna. Before that, what happens to our heart?
Maybe it develops karuna in your heart.
Develops karuna. Interesting. It becomes soft,
Same thing.
is what Krishnan Prabhu is saying. So karuna, how is that, Mataji?
Karuna can be in a heart that is conscious, like your
Yeah,
vivek, vivek, become more vivek, um, and then softens your heart and then develop karuna for others and
yeah.
for all living beings.
Sure, sure.
So
Yeah, yeah.
it's cleans up, basically cleansing of your
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. Cleansing,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that is what happens initially when we start hearing in the, in Krishna consciousness. Shravanam is the first process, right? That is what even Mahaprabhu brought Ramanand Rai to, that, like, what is higher, what is higher, what is higher. And then finally the highest thing was Sthane Sthita Shrutikatam Tanuman Manobhir. Wherever you are, in whatever position you are in this world, you hear my message. Sthane Sthita Shrutigatam, and then so yes, hearing, right? So what happens by hearing, the immediate effect that begins, although that effect may not be very tangible, that effect may not be very visible initially, but what happens is our heart starts getting cleansed. Okay. Shrinvatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtaya Punya Shravana शृण्वतां स्वकता कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्तु ह्य अभद्राणि विधुनोति समस्तताम्. Right? So the abhadra, whatever is there, unwanted things in the heart, they start getting cleansed away. So there is a similar verse that comes in the Bhagavatam. This is in the first canto, and that verse goes like this: Yad anudhyasina yuktaha karma granthini bandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. So this is again a well-known verse. Maybe many of you would already know this. So the translation is this: with sword in hand, intelligent men can cut through the blind binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So, yes, Hridaya Granthi, Karma Granthi, because our heart is misplaced, our heart is directed towards the temporary things of this world, that puts us into the binding knots of reactionary work, or, Karma Bandhan, Karma Granthi. And that knot starts getting untied as soon as we start hearing about Krishna. So this is one of the things. Of course, there are so many things that can be said about hearing about Krishna, right? It's just a vast topic. Yes, Krishna Prabhu, you're raising your hand.
Which canto and verse is this
Sorry, this is
from?
1 to 15, first canto,
Oh,
second
oh,
chapter.
okay. 1 to 15. It's very interesting. In chapter 15 in Bhagavad Gita also, there is asanga shastrena dridena chitva.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes, there the Shastra that is being spoken about is Asanga, like detachment. Uh,
yes,
yes, but yes, this Shastra weapon of no, and then there is weapon of knowledge also that Krishna talks about somewhere in the Gita. I forget, but yeah, these metaphors are there, and these effects of um, hearing, yeah, are actually very very powerful. So that a series of verses, actually, if you see in Markine Bhagavad Dharma Bodo Kripa Koile Krishna, that song, Prabhupada wrote that entire song in Bengali, but then suddenly there is a this thing, he suddenly starts quoting Bhagavatam there, 5 verses, 4 or 5 verses back to back, right? So let me, are you able to see the tab, the new tab, or are you still
yes,
seeing
yes,
7?
Prabhuji. Yes, we are able to see it.
Okay. So you see here he's saying Bhagavatir Katha se taba avatar dhira hoya shune jadi kane bar bar. So he's talking about Bhagavat Katha here. The Bhagavatir Katha says, so the Bhagavat Katha or the message of Bhagavatam is Taba Avatar. It's your avatar, right? You are, because Bhagavatam is actually Krishna incarnated as a book. There is that verse again, I forget now, famous verse where it says Krishna, when he Krishna Swadham Upagate, right? He went to his abode and then he again appeared as Bhagavatam, something like that. Dhira hoya shune jadi kane bar bar. After hearing this repeatedly, one becomes dhira, right? And then here he suddenly starts quoting these verses. Shrinvatam Sokata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Yaridhyantasto ya Badrani. Then Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki, right? The Abhadras goes away, the Anarthas go away, Abhadras get destroyed, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, then Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki. Then, Dridha Bhakti, strong Bhakti starts, and then, the verses continue how then one goes beyond the modes and so many things. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidhyante Sarva Samshayah. The Hridaya Granthi, the knots in the heart are destroyed. Sarva Samshayah Chidhyante, all the doubts are dispelled. Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evatmanishware. Anyway, I just wanted to show that. But yeah, now going forward, right, in this theme of hearing, now what are the different types of katha? Okay, types of Shravanam, right? So Katha is the message of the Lord. Now, how do we get that Katha? Like, how do we receive that Katha? Anyone? What are the types of Shravanam that we do? Any thoughts here? Or rather, what are the categories of Shravanam that we might do?
Maybe glories of Lord Krishna and bhajans.
Glories, yeah, glories is one thing. Very good. Thank you. Glories is like, it's a very umbrella term. There is something specific within glories. So what do you do if you want to know the glories of Krishna? What do you hear?
Life of Krishna and his
Yes.
gunas of Krishna.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I was going to come to gunas later, but then, when I was new to Krishna consciousness, my mentors used to tell me that your hearing can be, in the category of what we call as tattva, or the philosophy. Tattva are the principles, like you're not the body or the spirit soul. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna is the absolute truth. There are the modes of material nature. Krishna is beyond those modes. Then bhakti, the nature of bhakti. All these things are tattva, philosophy, right? And then there is the other category, as you rightly mentioned, the glories of Krishna, which we understand through his life, is the Leela or the pastimes of the Lord. And initially in my Krishna consciousness, I was suggested by devotees that, when we hearing or reading, reading is also, this is again something interesting I was thinking. So the nine processes of bhakti are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, correct? It says hearing, then chanting or glorifying Krishna, and then remembering. So then where does writing come? Where does reading come in this? One might ask, right? So in which category is reading? Shravanam, Kirtan. So nine processes of bhakti are hearing, chanting, remembering, then archanam, deity worship, vandanam, offering prayers, um, then Padasevanam, that is lotus feet, worshipping the lotus feet, Smaranam, remembering, six ho gaya. Then Dasyam, servitorship, Sakhyam, friendship, and Atma Nivedanam. So, in all this, where does reading come?
Smaranam, Prabhu. Smaranam.
Smaranam, okay, that is one way of looking at it. Yeah,
Could
in
be
one sense,
Shravanam.
Shravanam, yeah. So, Shravanam is where reading also comes, is what my understanding is. Like Smaranam is, of course, all these nine processes are supposed to give rise to Smaranam, remembering of the Lord. But then, more specifically, right, reading comes within Shravanam, I feel. The reason being that when the verse was composed by Prahlad Maharaj, there were no books. There was no Bhagavad Gita in the book form. All this knowledge was in the form of oral reception, right? The everything got written down just 5,000 years ago when Vyasdev wrote them down. Before that, everything was this thing. So yeah, Shravanam is reading. So when we actually read Bhagavatam, read Gita, it's actually Shravanam, because we are understanding the message of receiving the message of Krishna. But anyway, Tattva, Leela, and pastimes, and there are more, right? Ultimately, philosophy as well as pastimes, they are supposed to attract us to Krishna. So the philosophy sharpens our intelligence, makes our intelligence strong, makes our concepts crystal clear, and then Leela draws our emotions. The Leelas really, they one thing none of you mentioned, for why we hear about Krishna, is entertainment. Some people might find entertainment in that, right? It's a very pious kind of entertainment, but there is entertainment in that as well. So Manoranjan, right? But anyway, that is neither here nor there. But yes, so Tattva sharpens our intelligence, Leelas draws our emotions towards Krishna, and ultimately the whole purpose of both Tattva and Leela is to attract us to Krishna, right? And even some devotees have this as part of their sadhana, and this was what was suggested to me, that I should have a balance of Tattva and Leela in my Shravanam, in my reading and hearing. So that way, it's not like I become too sentimental, or it's not like I become hard-hearted, on the other hand, two extremes. So then to maintain that balance, both have to be there. So anyway, what are the other types of messages about Krishna? Suman Mataji alluded to that just now, but just to understand more, what are the other types of messages about Krishna? Leela are the pastimes, the activities of Krishna. What are the other things about Krishna that we hear about, or we are supposed to hear about?
Words spoken by Krishna himself.
Words spoken by Krishna, okay.
And devotees' pastimes.
Devotees' pastimes also, yes, that comes in Leela. So the pastimes of the devotees actually were engaged in the service of Krishna are non-different than the pastimes of Krishna in one sense. Yes,
Okay.
so they are equally purifying. That is why we are doing the six Goswami series in Krishna House. That is the exact reason, because hearing about devotees. But even more specifically, what do we hear about? Okay, let's do a small activity here. Okay. Um, let me see who all are the participants. So this will be fun. I had thought about this, but I didn't like put it down in on paper. But let's say, let me pick. Okay, I need two volunteers here. Okay, anyone, if you can raise your hand, two volunteers for this little activity. Nupur and one more. And then Krishna says, Mad Bhakto, become my devotee. So one might think, hold on, if somebody is thinking of Krishna, then why is Krishna separately saying, become my devotee? Is Krishna being redundant in some way over here? Of course, Krishna is not being redundant here, but what is the explanation behind that? Why is Krishna saying man mana as a separate thing and mad bhakto as a separate thing? Any ideas? Again, this is very easy if we just intuitive, like not intuitively, but if we just think a little, we'll understand why Krishna is separating out the two things. So is Krishna being redundant? अरे भक्त है तो फिर अगर कृष्ण के बारे में सोच रहे हैं तो भक्ति है ना, तो भक्त को सेपरेट क्यों बोला, लाइक भक्त बनो ऐसे सेपरेटली, व्हाई कृष्णा इज सेइंग?
You can think of Krishna in a Viparit Bhakti also. That's not what he wants you to do.
Exactly. Thank you. So, yes, so someone can think of Krishna but not be a devotee of Krishna. And what are the examples here? The examples are all famous examples: Hiranyakashipu, Ravana or Kamsa. They were all thinking of Krishna and very absorbed in thinking of Krishna actually. But then their thinking was out of, in case of Kamsa, it was out of fear. In case of Hiranyakashipu, it was out of hatred. In case of Ravana, it was out of envy. In case of Shishupal, it was out of envy, and so on. So, yes, someone can think of Krishna but not be a devotee of Krishna. That's why Krishna is saying that the bhakti has to be anukul. So that this comes in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu also, anukulena Krishna anushilanam. So the bhakti has to be favorable to it for it to be called bhakti in the first place, right? So anyway, that is that. And then what happens is this in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita, I believe, or some other book, Sripad Ramanujacharya takes this part, right? Man mana. So think of Krishna. So what do we think of Krishna? Of course, we can think of Krishna in many ways. We can think of Krishna in all these ways actually that we just saw here, right? We can understand Krishna's philosophy. We can understand Leela, Gunarupa, Nam, everything. We can understand the glories of these things. But then he specifically talks about the seven oceans of Lord Krishna's qualities that we can bathe in, right, as part of the process of manmana, of remembering Krishna. And this Ramanujacharya reveals, and there are seven oceans. Okay, so I'll mention these seven oceans and we'll try to get into each of these seven oceans. And again, we'll try to keep it interactive here. Okay, so the first ocean is Karunya Jaladhi. So Jaladhi is an ocean, and then Karunya is compassion. Some of you, I think Suman Mataji mentioned in the beginning that Karuna is one thing that develops with bhakti. Yes. But anyway, so Krish, where does that Karuna actually develop because of bhakti? Why? What is its source? Actually, Krishna is its source. Krishna is the ocean of compassion. The next is Saushilya Jaladhi, right? Ocean of good character and conduct. Krishna is an ocean of good character and conduct. And we can try to meditate on these qualities as part of Manmana, the process of Manmana. Then Saundarya Jaladhi, ocean of beauty, right? This is again quite often described, right? And then Madhurya Jaladhi, Krishna is an ocean of sweetness. Hmm? And then Gambhirya Jaladi, Krishna is an ocean of gravity. So this is also very interesting that, on one hand, you have sweetness, and in sweetness, there is some frivolous action, some fun. But then Krishna, the same Krishna, can also become an ocean of gravity as well. We'll see that. And then finally, there is Audarya Jaladi, ocean of benevolence, right? So Karunya Jaladi and Audarya Jaladi may sound similar, right? But there is a subtle difference between them. We'll see what that is. And then finally, that was not the final one. The final is Vatsalya Jaladi, right? Ocean of affection. Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsala. So then we'll try to see that as well. So anyway, moving, any thoughts, any questions so far? Okay, going once, going twice. Uh,
One quick thing.
yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Vatsalya means affection in general, or is it parental affection?
In this context, it's affection in general. Like Krishna says, Bhakta Vatsal, right? He's Bhakta Vatsal, so he's affectionate towards devotees. So yeah, in this context, it's in terms of general affection. But yeah, in the rasa theology of Rupa Goswami, he uh, considers the parental affection as Vatsalya as well. Yeah. Okay.
But,
So
Prabhu, Krishna is also our parent, right? Parampita Paramatma. So
yes.
could it be in that sense as well?
Yeah, he's Aham Bija Pradhapita in the sense that he's the seed-giving father of everyone. But then that is not the only relationship in which he reciprocates with his devotees. He can reciprocate with his devotees in various ways, uh, uh, which is again a topic in itself. But yeah, the five rasas, the primary five rasas or the primary five mellows or forms of relationship with Krishna are Shanta or passive adoration, that is neutrality also it's called. Then there is dasya or servitorship. Then there is sakhya or friendship, right? So Shanta is you just glorify the Lord passively. There is no active service. And then there is no active service in, but there is a lot of glorification. There is a lot of remembrance, smarana with love. So the Kumaras and Prahlad Maharaj are considered examples of Shanta or neutrality. Then there is on beyond that is Dasya or servitorship. Hanumanji is considered as an example of servitorship. Then on top of that is Sakhya or friendship. Arjuna is considered as an example of friendship because he was friends with Krishna, same as Subala or Madhumangal and all these people. And then after, higher than that is Vatsalya. Vatsalya is parental affection, is what Manan Prabhu just mentioned. So that Vatsalya is parental affection, like Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Devaki, Vasudev, they are relating with Krishna in the form of parents. And then the most intense of all these, the highest rasa, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually came to give was Madhurya or conjugal love. The love of the husband or wife or girlfriend, paramour, girlfriend, boyfriend, that kind of love on a spiritual level. This is not to be confused with the what we see in the material world here, but in the spiritual world. So that is the highest, the most intense form of a relationship with Krishna is Madhurya. So yes. And anyway, so Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, Mataji, they are saying, can you suggest pastimes for each of these? That's exactly what we are going to discuss. Literally, like that is the thing we are going to discuss. Pastimes for each of these. Yeah. Okay, now moving on. First is Karunya, ocean of compassion, right? And which are the pastimes that come to mind when you say ocean of compassion?
With Sudama, bro?
Sudama, compassion.
Um, and maybe that's
Well,
Sakya.
Sakhya is there. Yeah, there is an element of compassion, but compassion is not like the primary thing going on over there. What else is Karunya?
Putana?
Putana, yes,
Um,
thank you, Prabhu. Putana is a very great example of Karuna, Karunya. Vibhishan, yes, Vibhishan as well, you can say that.
Ajamil?
So Ajamilka, yeah, you can say Karuna. Yeah, you could say Karuna. Yeah,
Kubja, maybe, Prabhu?
Kubja as well. Sure, yes, yes. Rajendra. I guess you mean Gajendra. Yes, Gajendra. Yes, yes. That see, there is element of Karuna in all of these. Yes, yes. But I'll show a quote by Prabhupada here.
Jagai
And then,
Matai,
sorry.
Jagai Matai.
Jagai and Madhai, yeah, actually they are not just Karuna, they are actually Audarya. We'll see why. Okay. But in any case, um, Yeah, Rajendra, new character. So yes, so this verse, right? Aho Bakiyam Sthanakala Kutam. So this verse is a very beautiful verse which talks about how merciful Krishna is. Aho Bakiyam Sthanakala Kutam Jigham Saya Payayad Apya Sadhavi Lebe Gatim Dhatri Uchitam Tatonyam Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Vrajema. This verse is this comes in the third canto of the Bhagavatam. And then here the meaning of the verse is basically, who can be more merciful than my Lord? Who can be more merciful than my Lord, who gave the position of a dhatri, he gave the position of a nurse, the assistant of Yashoda Maya. Who all want to be assistants of Yashoda Maya here? Probably that's, we aspire for that, right? That is the aspiration for many of us. And uh, so she got that position of becoming the nurse and assistant to Yashoda Maya in the spiritual world in Golok Vrindavan, despite coming to kill Krishna by smearing her breast with poison. And her intention was to kill Krishna. So despite that, she is given this position of dhatri in the spiritual world. So then the verse, Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Rajema, such a merciful Lord, who can be more merciful than such a person? And I should take shelter of this person. I should take the Sharan of this person, right? So this is that verse. Now, interestingly, this is the same verse that Shukdev Goswami hears when he came out of the womb. So again, there is that story that Shukdev Goswami was already a realized soul, but he was realized in the impersonal aspect of the Lord, and then he did not want to come out of the womb of his mother. Um, he did not want to come out of the womb of his mother. He stayed for 12 trimesters, 12 threes, 16 trimesters, 48 months he stayed in the womb of his mother. And finally, Vyasdev, as the big gun, the last resort, he started chanting Bhagavatam. And then then he was so attracted, Shukdev Goswami was so attracted by Bhagavatam that he came out, he was born. But then immediately he thought, no, I don't want to get entangled in life. I'll just leave for the forest. And then he goes to the forest, and then Vyasdev is following him. And then, somehow Vyasdev wants to bring him back into the world. And then he has his servants, his disciples chant the Bhagavatam. And then it says two verses really transformed Shukdev Goswami and drove him to come back to Vyasdev. One of them is this Aho Bakiyam Sthanaka Alakutam, right? The compassion, the karunya, the karuna of Krishna. And here Prabhupada writes in this connection, in the purport of this same verse. Okay, another interesting part here. Who has said that the above verse? If anyone knows, you can you just don't say it. I want others to guess. Who must have said this verse? I'll give you a clue. So now this verse says that Krishna gave the position of Dhatri to Putana, and that is glorious. So then this person must have seen, must have witnessed how great is that position of motherly affection for Krishna. So he must have seen that, and he knows the depth of fortune of being in that position.
Lord Brahma?
No. Someone else. Again, another clue. Great devotee of the Lord. Uddhava, thank you, Gaur Kumar Prabhu. Uddhava said this verse, right? So he is the one. So in the third canto, there is a part where he's just remembering Krishna. He's remembering the pastimes of Krishna in summary, kind of. And then there he mentions this verse, Aho Bakiyam Sthanakalakutam. And in this purport of this same verse, Prabhupada writes, the Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. So least qualification and the highest reward, right? That is, of course, you can say Lord Chaitanya also is in that category. Yes, he is in that category, but he's also something deeper and something more intense. We'll see what that is when we get to Audarya Jaladi. Okay. Yeah, before we...
Prabhu again,
Yeah.
what's the meaning of Aho Bhakti and Sthanakala Kutam? Can you translate in English, please?
Yeah, let me actually, I don't know the word to word perfectly. So let me just pull up that verse. Exit full screen. Aho Bakiyam Sanakalakutam. Okay, let me just go here. So it says, Alas, Aho, alas, Bakiyam's the she demon. Aho Bakiyam, whom? Sthana of her breast, Kalakutam, deadly poison. So anyway, Jighamsaya out of envy. No, but anyway, the translation, Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of a mother to a she demon Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So this is the translation of the verse. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anyway, so okay, if there are no other thoughts, we'll move on to Saushalya, ocean of good character and conduct, right? Again, so this is what we'll do for each of the seven. We'll first try to remember some pastimes. So where Krishna exhibited this, and then that's also remembrance, which is very nice. And then yeah, so Saushalya, good character and conduct. What are the pastimes? Anyone? Yes, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu.
Prabhu, a Bhrigu Muni kicking Lord.
Yeah, that's a classic example of the good conduct. Yes, yes, yes. What else?
Exchanges with the Duryodhana.
Sorry?
Exchanges with with Duryodhana.
Exchanges with Duryodhana. How, Mataji?
Yes. Uh, he said bad things to Krishna, and he still kept his gravity.
Hmm.
And he did not respond the way he behaved.
Yeah, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Something more pronounced, like he's, we say, हमारे बेटे के लिए सुंदर सुशील लड़की चाहिए, सुशील, well behaved, good character, conduct, humble, that kind of a thing. So, where did Krishna exhibit such kind of qualities?
Mahabharata, he washed the feet of the guests to the
Yes.
to the Ashwamedha Yaga, for the
Yes.
Ashwamedha Yaga.
Yes. That is one example. Good conduct. Yes.
And Sudama also he served when he came to
Yes. Sudama and all
Dwarika
Brahmanas in general.
in general. Right?
Yeah. Krishna was very, very humble towards Brahmanas. He would serve them nicely, So, but anyway, the examples that went through were, his parents, the way he would deal with his parents very respectfully, with, a lot of etiquette. His teachers, Sandipani Muni, other elders, Brahmanas, he actually treated Devki's co-wives also equally well as he would treat Devki herself. And then Sandipani Muni, of course, he offered him Guru Dakshina, sages and Brahmanas who visit Dwarka. He killed Ugrasen, he killed Kamsa, but then in front of Ugrasen, he was submissive and he was a subordinate. He acted like a perfect subordinate to Ugrasen. Right? So these are very vivid examples of Krishna Saushilyata. Him getting Padukas of Nand Maharaj. Yes, I was waiting for someone to mention that. Yes, Prabhu. Amazing. Manan Prabhu, please go ahead.
I was thinking, is Krishna generally depict good character and conduct in Vrindavan or Rajabhumi? I mean, other than the carrying padukas, I don't know the details of that pastime though. But I can't. I mean, he certainly seems he's not. Can we say is there any good character pastime in Vrindavan? Also,
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, in Vrindavan, it's a land of sweetness. It's the Madhurya Dham. So there, the sweetness is definitely more than Saushalya, in the sense that, so in Saushalya there is some awe and reverence. So that is more pronounced in Dwarka, Mathura, those abodes. But yeah, Vrindavan is a very much, even Like even for example, like so the story of the Padukas goes that once Nanda Maharaj, I don't know, he's going out or somewhere. Maybe Soham Prabhu, you can narrate that since you mentioned it. I don't like, perfectly remember the story.
I also don't know the details, Prabhu. I only know that he had to get those padukas and he got it on his head, and Nanda
Yes.
Maharaj was like very impressed, looking at like how like so much love he had for his father.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
someone can know more details. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something like Nanda Maharaj says, bring my footwear, and then Krishna goes, and he could have bought it, just got the footwear, held it in his hands and brought it, but then he put them on his head. So that is the Saushilata. But then, yeah, I agree, Panan Prabhu, that in Vrindavan, the good behavior is not like Krishna steals butter, Krishna, dances with the gopis, or Krishna kills the demons, or Krishna plays pranks. It's not Sushil at all in one sense. But yeah, that the Madhurya aspect there is much more. The sweetness aspect is much more. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. So there is another quote from CC here. So when Lord Chaitanya went to Vrindavan, there was a male parrot named Shuka. So he glorified Lord Krishna's qualities. And then this is a larger verse, but I'm just quoting the one part there, which talks about his Sheelam Sarva Jananuranjanam. So his behavior satisfies everyone, is what Shuka the parrot says. So yeah, this is the thing. So moving on, Saundarya Jaladi, he's the ocean of beauty. So of course there is a lot that can be said here. Adharam, Madhuram, So that is there. Any pastimes here though? Any pastimes here where Krishna's beauty comes forth?
He's all attractive, so everything's beautiful about him.
Yes, but then
Mm.
are there any specific leelas where, Krishna's mesmerizing beauty uh, was mentioned, or dancing on Kalia? Absolutely. The way he beautifully danced and his form, that was amazing. Yeah.
The fruit vendor.
Fruit vendor as well. Yes. She sees that this child is so beautiful, so sweet. And I believe there would be a description of his form as well. We'll also read a description of his form. Soham Prabhu says, not sure, but he himself faints looking at his own reflection in the mirror. Yes, there is a pastime where Krishna is looking at himself in the mirror and he thinks, "Oh my God, who is this beautiful person? Such a beautiful
Mm.
person," right? Like that. So yes, that is there. So Krishna
So,
sucking his. Sorry, Mata. I'll just read this one from Lekha Mataji, and then I'll come back to you. Krishna sucking his thumb during Mahapralayam witnessed by Markandeya Maharshi. Acha. Okay. I don't have much context here, but yeah, that Gokul Santol's powder logo. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Go back to you, Suman Mataji. You were saying something.
yeah, I was thinking, Prabhu, when Krishna stole butter from gopis' homes,
Hmm.
they complained. However, they still loved that, and they thought it was sweet.
Yes. Yeah. Krishna is very sweet. He would just smile and
Mm.
melt away their hearts. True. More. I'm not sure if this is Saundarya Jaladi, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani freezing while listening about Krishna from Mother Rohini. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Krishna's form must be described there, I guess. And then, yes, then true, could say that.
Prabhu is the Mohini avatar. Would that be considered? That was Sundarya.
Yeah, yeah, yes, absolutely. Bhishma seeing Krishna's beauty when he lifted chariot's wheel. Oh, yes. This is also a very classic example. Like Bhishma lifted his, when Krishna lifted his chariot wheel, Bhishma is like he leaves his weapons and It's like it's an intense battle. The backdrop is of an intense battle, but the verses, if you read, you will think that, oh, this is a love story here. So he's seeing the beautiful form of Krishna lifting the wheel. Yes. So anyway, again, there is a lot that can be said here, right? So going on, so here this Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. The Lord's beauty surpasses the beauty of even 10 million cupids put together. Right? So that is Saundarya. Moving on. Oh wait, there is one meditation that we can do. Yeah, if we can do this meditation, and if you want, you can close your eyes or you can meditate on this picture that is there. His complexion is the color. This verse comes in Padyavali, Rupa Goswami's Padyavali. His complexion is the color of a blooming lotus. His face is like the moon. He is fond of wearing a peacock feather crown. He bears the mark of Shrivatsa. He wears the great Kaustubha gem. He is dressed in yellow garments, and his handsome form is worshipped by the lotus offerings of the gopis' glances. Accompanied by a host of Surabhi cows and cowherd boys, Govinda is fond of sweetly playing the flute. His divine body is decorated with glittering ornaments. I worship Lord Govinda. Very beautiful verse. Moving on to the next one, Madhurya Jaladhi, sweetness, ocean of sweetness. And all of you already mentioned, but then, Krishna, when he would steal, that was that there is, of course, some agony there in the sense that, the anger there, annoyance over there, but then overall, the sweetness is what stands out in those pastimes. Damodar Leela is another uh, pastime, right? Uh, what else? Any other pastimes of sweetness? I mean, there are just so many. Um, we can spend the entire hour on discussing just the Madhurya, sweetness of Krishna. Yes, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu. Manjari Gopal.
Sri Ram having berries given by Shabari,
Yeah.
and there was one more. Wait, I forgot. Oh, Suman Mataji can go actually. I'll remember and come.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Radha Krishna pastimes.
Yeah. Yes. Brahma Vimohan, sweetness. How, Prabhu?
All the
Oh, you mean the
all
exchanges between the Gopas? Yeah.
the Gopas, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely. Sweetness. Yeah. Yeah, there are so many pastimes here that we can talk about. Yeah. But thank you, dear devotees. Manjari Gopi Mataji wanted to say something more.
I forgot, Prabhuji. There was such a sweet example. I completely forgot.
Acha. Kuchela Charitram of Krishna Jagannath and Karma Bhai Kichdi. Oh, yeah. Karma Bhai Kichdi. Yeah. Can you narrate that story, Lekha Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah. First of all, I apologize massively for my typos. I was just typing from work, so
No
that's why.
worries.
Yeah. So Karma by Khichdi is it's one of my favorite pastimes, but I don't recall all the details exactly. But basically, there's this really pure, sweet devotee of Krishna. Her name is Karma Bai, and every day her only goal is to like make khichdi for Jagannath. Like every day she'll wake up. I might be misquoting some details. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But she every day she wakes up, she doesn't care about cleaning herself up. She'll just like make khichdi. She'll use a toothpick to pick her toes. She'll taste her khichdi with the same toothpick. And she will be like then she to make sure that the khichdi is good for Jagannath, the right temperature, right spices, salt, everything. And there is a brahmana who sees this, and he like chastises her. He's like, how can you like not clean up after yourself? How can you not take bath? How can you
Mm.
cook for Krishna without like showering? You have to wake up every day and like take showers, like chant these shlokas, and only then do all of this. And she was like, oh my God, okay, starting from tomorrow, I'm going to do this. And by the time she finished the shlokas, the time was already away. So basically, she stopped making khichdi because her sadhana took so much time for her. Then Jagannath comes in the Brahmana's dream, and if I'm not wrong, he gives him a slap and he's like, "Did I ask him to? Why did you go and tell her this? Like, I
Mm.
was relishing her khichdi every day, and now you deprive me of that opportunity. You go to her, you tell her whatever she was doing is fine. The shlokas are for you, not for her. Her relationship with me is completely different." So he goes and then he tells Karma Bai that, oh, please, like, don't worry about it. Whatever you're doing was fine. And then ever since then, her khichdi became famous. Actually, her that khichdi's recipe is also pretty slightly specific. It's not the same way as how we make khichdi.
Mm.
If someone has not tried it, you should just like try making that khichdi. And every day in Jagannath till today, they make Karma Bai khichdi for Jagannath every day. And they also give him the pan. The pan is also another story. I don't know, that's I forget the story completely, but he definitely has these two meals like every day.
Amazing. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll share a more valid version in the group later. I might have misquoted, so please forgive me. But thank you, Prabhu.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Mataji. This was very nice. Thank you. So this Madhurashtakam verse, his lips are sweet, his face is sweet, his eyes are sweet, his smile is sweet, his heart is sweet, his gait is sweet. Everything is sweet about the emperor of sweetness. Madhuradi pater akhilam madhuram. So yeah. Now moving on. So yes, Krishna's pastimes are sweet. Krishna has a lot of fun, but that is not the only thing, right? Krishna is also the ocean of gravity. So any examples here? Gambhirya. Where Krishna became serious and no nonsense now.
Shishupal.
Yes, that is Gambhirya. Yeah,
Krishna instructing Arjuna.
exactly. Yes, Krishna instructing Arjuna. So initially there was a friendly exchange going on, but then as soon as Arjuna surrendered to Krishna and asked him to instruct him, then Krishna became very serious and started giving him the instructions of the Gita. Yeah.
So he showed Prabhu Virat Rupa in the court of Hastinapur
Yeah.
when he goes to with the peace message.
Yes. Yes. Let me go back. Inaugurating worship of Govardhan. Yes, Krishna was very serious there while giving the arguments to Nanda Maharaj as to why Govardhan should be worshipped and not Indra. Yes, when Indra and Brahma begged forgiveness, this is a typical example of classic example of Krishna becoming Gambhir. And one thing I was thinking about these two examples, Indra and Brahma. This is special in one sense. The Gambhirya here is special because Krishna was still in Vrindavan. He was still engaged in his Madhurya pastimes with his associates, the Vrajvasis. And then in that Madhurya backdrop, Brahma and Indra are getting this Gambhir, this seriousness from gravity from Krishna. And that's very special. So Krishna was really, really, really angry at them. But anyway, so one definition of Gambhirya that this Gaurang Darshan Prabhu mentioned that this comes in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is hidden allusion. Or in other words, the person who is in front of you, they don't know what you're thinking. That is Gambhirya. Like we are with a straight face. So the person doesn't understand what's going on in the other person's mind. So that is Gambhirya. And Brahma, similarly, Brahma, he's like, oh my, this is a 6-year-old child here, but he's already, purified me so thoroughly. Now I don't know what he's going to do. He's just totally in fear in some sense, and well, very remorseful for sure. Very, very remorseful as to what he did. So anyway, and of course there is the story also that because of that gravity, he understands his mistake and then he performs austerity, and then he takes birth as Haridas Thakur to repent for what he did in Brahma Vimohan Leela. Okay, moving on. Audarya Jaladhi, ocean of benevolence. So this is something I would like to discuss here. So the difference between Audarya and Karunya, right? And then of course, I'll not ask you all for the pastimes here. I'll mention this and then we can discuss more about it. So Lord Chaitanya is considered as the example of Audarya, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. And even like Mayapur is known as Audarya Dham, right? It's Audarya Dham. And what does Audarya Dham mean? Like the Dham Apradhas are not considered in Mayapur. Yeah, there is no severe reaction for dham aparadh, but in other dhams like Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, we have to be very careful not to commit dham aparadh. But because Mayapur is Audarya dham, aparadhas are not considered. But again, that does not mean that we should be callous when we go to Mayapur. It definitely displeases Lord Chaitanya, but although there is no reaction to it. But in any case, so Lord Chaitanya is considered, Audarya avatar. So now here I want to open up and discuss what is the difference between Audarya and Karunya. And this actually is also very good self-reflection because it will tell us the fortune that we have received also, like each one of us that we've received in our lives. So anyway, so what do you think is the difference between Audarya and Karunya? Because both are considered as the oceans of Krishna's qualities that we should be meditating on.
Before that, Prabhuji, sorry. I
Yeah.
wanted to clarify, like, what did you mean by like no reaction for aparat done in Mayapur Dham? I missed it.
So this is just my understanding. Others can add. What I have heard is when you commit an aprad in the dham. So dham aprad, one of the again, like in general, all apradas stem from ingratitude. Okay, and then when you're in a dham, the way dham aprad can happen is we start seeing the dham from a mundane perspective. Like, what is this? Vrindavan, really? This is Vrindavan, so dirty, trash everywhere, we might think like that. Or we might, Vrajvasis, we might think, we might see the Vrajvasis and how simple they are and how, they may not be sophisticated in the way that we think how they should be. And then we might look at them and say, oh, these are Vrajvasis, really? you know uh, so these are all like dham apradhas, any thing born out of ingratitude within a dham and which makes us see the dham from a mundane vision, that is dham aparadha. And what happens because of that is these any aparadhas within bhakti, they kind of stifle our bhakti lata, they kind of choke our bhakti lata. So then dham aparadhas are, but then in Mayapur, because Lord Chaitanya is Namo Mahavadanyaya, these aparadhas are not considered. Of course, if we commit aparadh there, we'll not grow in bhakti. That is definitely there. But then, from the way I understand it, is that um, it doesn't have a severe reaction because Mahaprabhu is merciful. That is the mood of the dham as well. Anyone else can add if they want to.
Got it, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there is dham aparadh, there is Vaishnava aparadh, there are different kinds, seva aparadh as well. We might commit some aparadhas while doing sevas. So that is also aparadh. All these things affect our bhakti. So yeah, in any case, we don't have to get into a paranoia of aparadhs. Try to do it with love and gratitude. So basically, when gratitude and love is there, the aparadhas are sort of, the degree to which we put our gratitude into what we do, into where we go, and the degree to which we are really desirous of getting that love for the dham, love for the seva, love for the Vaishnavas. To that degree, aparadhas will themselves, remain away. To the degree we humble ourselves. So that is the positive way of looking at it. rather than going in a paranoia of, okay, if I take this step here, then will it be aparadh? Or if I, so yeah, there are many mundane ways of looking at it also, which can really make us anxious. Lekha Mataji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I think you just answered that question, but I just want a little bit more information
Yeah.
on, if I may request you to. So you just talked about if at a stage where we are not doing as much aparadh, we might have experienced where we get realizations, like we have the inner, like we can see Krishna's inner guidance. We, even irrespective of whether things go our way or not, we can always see, have that vision. So that gives us the strength and it keeps us going. But as life changes, um, our anarthas also start coming out. And when the anartha comes out, it comes out where we are also given this. We also recognize that, oh, it is an anartha that I have. Okay, I thought I was a very kind person, but looks like I am not. And that again impacts us because it changes our perception of ourselves. We basically get exposed to who we are,
Mm.
but it can be a little discouraging because now we are like, okay, I'm not in the right path. Like, oh, how can I call myself a practicing devotee? So when we come to that stage, one obviously definite way to do is to, like, okay, we are recognizing it, act upon it. But does it also mean that Krishna can be like dissatisfied with us? Is the effort to change alone enough to satisfy Krishna and we start acting upon it? Or or does this mean, okay, Krishna is not happy with me and that's why I'm making these anarthas? So there are two ways to like think about this. One is, okay, I know I'm wrong at this. I'm human. I will improve and I'll work as per Krishna's instructions. Second one is, okay, I acted in this way, which means I'm not uh, practicing Krishna consciousness enough, or and Krishna's like disappointed with me, and now that is not good.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts around this, Prabhu?
Yeah, this takes a lot of self-introspection. This takes a lot of
Mm,
introspection along with somebody who knows us really well, because
mm,
we might do something. Um, we might do something out of some anartha, let's say envy, for example, right?
mm,
We
mm.
do something out of envy, and then we just kind of whitewash it by saying that, yeah, I'm human after all, right?
Ah,
Then that is not really good. But
ah,
at the same time, so it's both, I would say. You can't beat yourself up for having
mm,
done something,
mm,
okay?
mm,
And but at the same time, that does not mean we should not work on that. We should definitely work on that.
mm,
So it all depends on the motivation. Sometimes our motivation can be in the right place, but then it's just
mm,
that some previous conditionings may hit us, and then
mm.
we might just,
Yeah.
give into it or whatever, or,
Mm,
sometimes
mm,
unknowingly it can happen. So in that
mm,
case, sure, you can. So see, there is extremes in both cases. The
mm,
extreme in this case of whitewashing is that we shirk away our responsibility to do anything with it.
mm,
And then the extreme in this case is like, yeah, Krishna is displeased with me. I'm good for nothing. I'm
mm,
useless. I'm
mm,
trash.
mm,
Both
mm.
are born out of pride, I think. I would,
Ah,
because
yeah.
yeah, both there is a high degree of
Ah,
self-absorption in the
yeah.
extreme where, oh, how can I do this?
Yes.
Krishna is, displeased. I'm just
Yes.
very, very good for nothing and things like that. And the other
Yeah.
extreme is also self-absorption in the sense that
Mm,
I am just human, these things
mm,
happen. I shouldn't
mm,
just bother about these things. It's okay.
mm,
So I guess we have to be there somewhere in the middle. And that middle can be, it doesn't have to be always. Sometimes that middle can waver to either side, depending on the
mm,
situation, depending on, so that is why it's important that we self-introspect,
mm,
we talk to our superiors, and then
mm.
the superior guidance from outside helps us. And then when we self-introspect in a sincere manner, then Krishna also gives us some indications from within that, hey, this was not
Ah,
at the right consciousness, man. You should really, work on this. So both things are there, I think, and there are different strategies of looking at this. This is just what I said based on what I know. But yeah, Nitya Mataji, the NVC folks can give a much better nuanced understanding about these things.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. That was especially the self-absorption. It was very spot on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. So anyway, we have how much time? 9:55. So uh, Audarya and Karuna, right? So these two things. Um, Audarya is Karuna is there in Audarya also, but it is more intense in the sense that the other person is not even making any effort and they still end up getting the mercy. The classic examples of this are Jagai and Madhai. And like for example, Lord Chaitanya tells Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur to go door to door and to distribute the love of God freely. There is that statement, right? What you call that statement of Mahaprabhu, that I'm ready to distribute the fruits of love of God which are infinite, but I have only have two hands, so I need more hands. Now, just freely he's giving out. So Nityanand Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, they are going door to door, people who are materially absorbed, people who are pious, people who are envious, they are not even making any effort to come to Krishna. They are not even making any effort to, develop themselves. Still, Nityanand Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, devotees like them, they are going, knocking on their doors and falling at their feet and saying, chant the holy names. They are giving them that mercy. So that is Audarya. It's a very intense form of Karuna, is the way I understood it. So, without caring who is qualified or unqualified. In Karuna, also, there is not no care of qualified, unqualified. But in Karuna, at least, I guess there is that effort from the practitioner that, please help me. Please, take me out of, please give me love of God. At least that is there. But in Audarya, even that is not there. So, Krishnanand Prabhu used to give this analogy many, many years ago when he would come in Pune. So Krishnanand Prabhu, right, the Brahmachari, Chopati Brahmachari. So Krishna is like that, teacher, or that, professor, or that university wherein you go to write, you have to go to write the exam. You have to write the exam, you have to ace it, and then you get an entry into the university. Okay. Then Lord Chaitanya is like, you know, just come to the exam, and just sit and go. You'll get in. And then Lord Nityananda is even more intense in the sense that he will himself bring you the paper at your home and give it to you, and then say that, okay, now you're in. So that is like in all, there is karuna, but then there is deepening levels of karuna, deepening levels of compassion. So is the way I understand it. So
Prabhu, Udarya is same as Udar. Then we say someone has Udar, they'll.
yeah, there is
It's that word. Okay.
yeah. Yes, this is also what something that was mentioned. Audare comes from devotees of Krishna. Karuna comes from Krishna. Yes. So devotees of Krishna are considered to be even more merciful than Krishna himself. So yes, that is very nice and wonderful. Thank you. Okay, moving on. So this is this verse that comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The most munificent supreme personality of Godhead, known as Gaura Krishna, who distributed love to everyone, even the lowest of men, his own confidential treasury in the form of the nectar of love of himself and the holy name. This was never given to the people at any time before. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this is Audarya, lowest of men, not even bothered about any sort of spirituality. They are also getting the opportunity by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. Anarpita charim chirat karunayanar karunavatar tirano, something. That verse is there. Like Lord Chaitanya came to give something that nobody ever gave. So that is Audarya. Anyway, Thank you for the discussions, dear devotees. We are already at time. I'll just complete this Vatsalya and then we'll wrap up for today. So, Vatsalya Jaladi, again, so many pastimes where Krishna is expressing his affection. Like Krishna is sitting as a charioteer of Arjuna. He doesn't have to do that, but he's sitting as a charioteer taking kicks from Arjuna. That's his affection for Arjuna, due to which he's doing it. And so many other pastimes. So here Suniti tells her son Dhruva that Lord Krishna can give him the affection of millions of mothers. That's her realization as a mother. So very interesting here, because when we say affection, the first person that might come to our mind is our mother, because the affection that a child receives from the mother is beyond compare within this world. So then Suniti is telling Dhruva that Lord Krishna is his affection is equal to millions, more than millions of mothers' affection. So yeah,
Lord Narasimha shows
Prahlad.
that kind of vatsalya towards Prahlad,
Yeah, yeah,
Maharaj.
yeah, yes,
Mm.
yes. Yeah, wherever there are sweet exchanges between devotees, affectionate exchanges between the devotee and the Lord, there is Vatsalya involved. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, dear devotees. That was that. And sorry, we didn't discuss a lot of reflections or lessons or practical tips here, but just wanted to do this. And so now today we did Krishna's 7 qualities, oceans of Krishna's 7 qualities. And I mean, Krishna's unlimited qualities, but 7 oceans of Krishna's qualities. Krishna's unlimited, these are just 7. So now next week onwards, we'll go into the qualities of the devotee, the pure devotee of Krishna, what qualities they have. And we'll go one by one, look at a personality who demonstrates that quality in Bhagavatam or CC also. But we'll try to stick to Bhagavatam as much as we can. So, yeah, with that, we'll end. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.